working with its particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Creepy crawlers on the slab, catch me latex gloving with machines glowing purple, green and hints of blood, red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't front-end. It's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Trying to touch in the conversation, cause maybe the wrong ones will be snuffed. nothing. So I just had to decide the secrets for the rings and names you legit.
Sign of hand transmissions. Got the way to carrying out my real convictions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Set this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Creepy crawlers on the slab, catch me latex gloving with machines glowing purple, green, and hints of blood, red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't fronting. It's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
crawlers on the slab. Catch me latex scrubbing with machines glowing purple, green, and hints of blood. Red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't fronting. It's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You are hearing the amazing sounds of Emma Ward, a young, creative person. Better turn this down a little. That was Emma Ward spinning a yarn there. A melodic yarn called Gangsta Medusa. I still got too much echo. I like a little echo on my voice. Let me see if I can show you the screen for Gangsta Medusa. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There's some people on a beach somewhere. She's still playing in the background, I hear her. Let's see, where did you go? Where did you go? You know what I'll do? I'll put up a slide while we're waiting. I'll put up a slide. You know, for your consideration, protect your body, vote for Joe. I know some of you are mad at Joe about Gaza, and I get it, but here's what I'm saying. There's one side, and I know a lot of you want to say, no, your vote doesn't matter, but it does. One side's going to protect, for real, one side is going to protect the rights of women when it comes to abortion. Nobody's going to force anyone. Nobody's going to force anyone to get an abortion. That's not why we're here. They want to portray us as some sort of, what does Trump call us? Leftist, Marxist radicals. But the only radical thing we're doing is saying women should decide for themselves, and that you should not lower the age of consent to 12 years old, as they're trying to do in some states. We're not going to go back to, I don't know about y'all, but going back to child brides seems like a really bad idea. I'm trying to find Emma Ward's page. She's up on the Spotify's. Did I somehow cancel it? What did I do, people? Let's just go ahead and do a little searchy search while we're talking. Nobody's going to force you to get an abortion. Do you really want the government in your bedroom with you, telling you that undeveloped human, I know some people won't like that term, but we got to be honest here. A seed is not an apple, people. An egg is not a chicken. And what happens is and I get it. We anthropomorphize is the name of the thing that we do. And it causes people to think of what is really a potential human, I like to say undeveloped human. It's a more honest description of what it is. And the heart, quote unquote, the heartbeat starts, but that's really just a body, that's a pulse throughout the body. And I think we all know in our hearts, at least this is what I think I know after many years of reflection, until the lights come on in the brain, until the lights come on, nobody's really home. But we start to think of the potential human as already being here. That's what anthropomorphizing is. And I get why people do it. It totally makes sense. But it doesn't because it makes sense that we do that at an emotional level, doesn't necessarily make sense on a logical level. And I think part of the way we get tricked by arguments, especially arguments that involve taking away a woman's choice, we get tricked by the emotion that it's a baby. That's what anthropomorphizing does to you. It makes you feel like the potential human that is developing, not fully developed. It's a human. It's a proto-human, if you want to say it that way. It's eventually going to be a full-grown human if things don't go wrong, and things often go wrong, people. That's kind of the one of the key points of the argument is things go wrong, and you can't be telling women sitting in an emergency room who are bleeding, oh no, it's not dangerous enough yet. Because that's what ends up being the outcome of these laws that severely restrict abortion. You don't have to be in favor of abortion, but do you want to tell women in the waiting room, sorry, I'm a physician and I think your life's in danger, but your life's not in danger enough for me to risk my medical license. So now you're forcing ER doctors and OBGYNs to make horrible decisions. Anthropomorphizing is the cause of that. Now, let me make a nuanced point, because this is a tricky one. If you get pregnant and you want that pregnancy to come to term and it does not, you're going to experience grief. I'm not invalidating grief, because moms and dads and grandparents and children sometimes grieve legitimately over a lost pregnancy. What I'm saying is, when you think of the fertilized egg as a fully grown baby, you're setting yourself up for even more grief, because you're imagining that it's fully developed and you're not being honest with yourself and saying, you know what, it's early in the game, everybody. Mother Nature gave me, I think women at a certain point have like 30 million eggs, but then it diminishes over time. And they end up with, I want to say, 300,000 eggs that are kind of, can be likely to be useful during the life of a modern human. The point is, things go wrong. And if you've anthropomorphized the zygote, it's a lot of Latin, isn't it? Don't anthropomorphize the zygote. You're setting yourself up for more grief. I would argue, in my humble opinion, not possessing a womb. And the grief is legitimate. Just because you anthropomorphized the zygote doesn't mean your grief is false. The grief is about what you had hoped was going to happen, and that didn't happen. And our only point is, let's just acknowledge that that risk exists all the time, and that's why Mother Nature gave you so many opportunities for it. You have more eggs than you could use in your entire lifetime. And we're going to lose some pregnancies no matter what. Let's let women decide which pregnancies they want to keep. They can talk to their doctor, they can talk to their preacher, they can talk to their neighbor, they can talk to their parents, they can talk to their children. And if you're not comfortable with the idea of an undeveloped potential human being terminated, I would simply ask you to think about the other side of life, too. If old Brother Seamus here gets bonked on the head, let's hope that's not the case. But if old Brother Seamus has a huge aneurysm of some sort, I got to balance myself with the protect your body, vote for Joe sign. My point is, if I have a massive stroke and I'm not me anymore, but my body's still chugging along, but I'm not there, if there's no consciousness, most of us kind of are like, well, the party's over for Brother Seamus, man. The lights are out. We can keep the human body going on the other end. And we have to remember that on the incoming side, there's a point where your body's starting to look human, but you're not home yet. The lights ain't on. Now some of you, the smart ones, this will be on the exam, by the way, will start asking the relevant question. And what is the relevant question? Anyone? You in the back? That's exactly right. When does consciousness develop? Consciousness is kind of a fancy word, but it's really a simple concept. It's the me. Like, are you aware of yourself? There's a great movie, well, I shouldn't say great. There's a very interesting movie with David Carradine called Sonny Boy. And there's a character that's kind of a feral child, and they've kept him like locked up, and they use him to kill other people. He's like 20 now or something. And he's never seen himself in the mirror. And after he murders and kind of eats this guy, he looks in the mirror, and he doesn't say this, but it looks like he's going, oh, I'm me. I'm a person. That's kind of a real exaggerated example of a brain developing consciousness. Self-awareness is kind of another way to think of it. So when does a fetus turn into a consciousness-possessing human? And shouldn't the fully grown human that is acting as a host to this potentially wonderful human, but we don't know yet because they're not all the way there yet. They're still in the oven. The bun is in the oven. But shouldn't we value the life of the full-grown adult host who happens to be a human with a womb? Shouldn't we value her or their lives just as much as a potential human whose lights aren't on yet? I'm not picking on the fetus here. It's not the fetus's fault. There's certain parts of your brain that have to be there for consciousness to come on. So the relevant question, which will be on the exam, is there's no easy answer to when human consciousness develops, but there is a point where you can say, oh, they've at least got the hardware to run the default program. Windows 10 for humans. Once our operating system engages, now you've got a pretty good argument that you've got a person there. Even if it's a person with very little, newborns don't have a lot of self-awareness. Some even argue that they're not all the way conscious yet, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to say, when does your brain possess the ability to be conscious? Because on the other end, if your brother Seamus goes swimming in the rock quarry and dives off, when your brother Seamus dives off a high cliff and hits his noggin on the rocks down there, that happens sometimes. And if somebody says, hey, he's not waking up, his body looks, it looks like he's here, but his brain has been irrecoverably damaged. He's no longer capable of sustaining consciousness. I would hope that you would let Brother Seamus go. You know what I mean? Just take me out in the desert. I don't want nothing fancy here, folks. Just take me out in the desert. Find some scientists who want to study. I think University of Texas does this. Don't quote me on this, but they put your body out in the desert with the coyotes. Hey, listen. I want to be out there with the coyotes. I really do. But not while my brain is still good. So, for those of you just joining us, this right here is pretty much what you're voting for this year. I know a lot of you say you'll never vote for Biden, that he doesn't care about Gaza. I think you're wrong. I think he's just slow. He's taking his time. They don't call him Sleepy Joe for nothing. But Sleepy Joe will sue for peace. Sleepy Joe will sue for peace. Even if you hate him, Donald Trump is the same person essentially as Benjamin Netanyahu. He will kill Gazans. Donald Trump would tell Netanyahu to kill as many people as he wants to. Don't even worry about it. So even if you're upset with Sleepy Joe, think about bodily autonomy. And why is it that women's lives don't matter as much as an undeveloped human's life? How come fully developed humans don't get as much consideration? And really think about it. Do you want women to go into the emergency room and the doctor will have to say, well, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to bleed out more. You're not bleeding out enough yet. I can't argue that your life is at risk yet. Even when the mother wants to keep the pregnancy, but she realizes it's threatening her life, do you really want to take that option away from her? That is what's happening, and vote for Joe. I know some of you think it's a big cabal, whatever, but just forget about who's in charge of the party. Think about what the party stands for right now. That's kind of where it's at. Also, Gen Z, if you guys turned out and voted in record numbers, like we barely got to 70% voter turnout ever. We've barely gotten to 70% voter turnout. I think the last election broke all the records because so many people feel so strongly for and against Trump. Nobody's that in love with, or this is a sign you know who the better candidate is. Nobody's completely in love with Joe Biden, but nobody hates his guts either. Well, Some people do, and some people love him. But mostly, Joe Biden's kind of like, well, we think he's going to do a good enough job. You don't have to like everything he does. Do you think women should have a choice? And they should have a right to go in an emergency room and be able to say, look, I'm afraid I'm dying here. Terminate the pregnancy, please. I've got 300,000 ovum. I'll get another shot. It is sad sometimes. But hey, don't anthropomorphize. Being a psychologist, we call it setting reasonable expectations. Right? Set reasonable expectations for yourself and say, look, okay, the sperm got in the egg. You just wiggle on in there, just like that. And then at some point, that egg grew and became a fully functioning human. But first 3 months especially, a whole lot of stuff can happen. I don't even know what the numbers are. I said, looking into the correct camera. And keep in mind that women have had this right. This is the part I think people got to keep in your head. They will take rights away from you if you let them. And it won't just be women's rights. The very next thing, because this is a deal between, if you want to think of it this way, this is a deal between the Nazis and the Christians, right? I don't want to oversimplify it, but basically, Donald Trump, MAGA is Nazis. It's a new version of Nazis. They wear this matching suits. They always love their matching uniforms, don't they? Them Nazis, they like to look sharp, and they like to look alike, if you know what I'm saying. Them Nazis, let's put that down on a loop. That's a good one. We make loops here on the Brother Seamus Show. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. Let's see if we'll hear that in a minute. It'll cycle back. It's about a 1 minute long loop. Making loops makes me lose my train of thought. Oh, they're coming for gay folks too. So we've had gay marriage for a while. We had legal abortion for way longer than we've had gay marriage. You think that Mr. Trump and his band of Christian Nazis going to let you keep gay marriage? I don't think so. Your old brother Seamus here now. He's a straighty. I think I'm what's called a cisgender. I don't mind. Sounds kind of cool to me. But my point is, they're going to come for gay marriage. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. That's right. Oh, let's see if we can play that back. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. Them Nazis, they sure do their shit. They sure do their shit. See, it's stand me. Them Nazis, they sure shizzy. They sure. Hey, give us a call, people. This is the Brother Seamus Show. I think you know where I was going with this last thought before I got derailed by this loop. 509-676-6032. They'll come for the gay rights. Trans people, I mean, if you don't get Sleepy Joe in there, Sleepy Joe will actively protect transgender affirming care. He will. He just will. These are simple ones. You don't have to believe me. Although your brother Seamus, hey, which camera am I on? I went to the wrong camera again. Damn it. It's hard running a studio and everything and being the talent and having to dress real sharp. It ain't easy, people. It ain't easy. It is made much easier by this young artist named Emma Ward, who's letting me use some of her music free of charge. If you like Emma Ward, please go to her place over here. She's just a good human. She's a good human friend of mine, Emma Ward. And this track, I'm going to feature it throughout today's program, which will probably last anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours. I don't know what time I have to meet my girlfriend for dinner, but we're going to go at least an hour, you know. Come on. I'm just getting loose, drinking my coffee. This is Emma Ward. You can get over there on Spotify, all right? Pick up this track. This is called Gangsta Medusa. That's good stuff, people. They're going to come. They're not going to just come for women. They're going to come for anybody that has a lifestyle with which they disagree. They'll lie about it. They'll say they're not doing that. But I think it's incumbent upon all of us. It's incumbent upon all of us. And I just want to be your cheerleader. I'm not here trying to like change reality or call things what they ain't. The fact is, the millennials and the Gen Z have enough voters now.
Right now during Jeep 4x4 season, well-qualified returning FCA
Uh-oh, we're getting ads.
On the 2024 Jeep Compass.
They snuck in a dangle ad. We can't have that. They're not paying me. But Emma Ward, I believe if you go there and, you know, I don't know if you can buy stuff on Spotify or if it's just on there. I'm too old to understand Spotify. People, your brother Seamus doesn't really keep up with Spotify is what he's trying to say here. But I think having somebody like Emma Ward creating a song called Gangsta Medusa means we should get our Gangster Medusa on. In the spirit of Gangsta Medusa. And fight back against, I think it's all a form of fear and hatred. It's all a form of fear and hatred. They sure do like to dress sharp. I do like to dress sharp. I do like. Nazis sure do like to dress sharp, don't they? So let's see. I wandered away from what I was saying. So gay marriage, transgender care, all of these things. If it's easier for you, don't think about the leaders of the two parties and don't worry about the two-party system. It's yes, you know, there's some shit that needs changing and improving, that's for sure. But in the meantime, can we keep just the basic? Well, we already lost Roe versus Wade. And if you're just joining us and you don't know anything about Donald Trump bragged about getting rid of Roe versus Wade. He also said in an interview, I think on CNN, go watch it for yourself. You don't need me to force anything on you. But he said he thought women probably should be punished for getting abortions. So some kind of jail time, or at least a fine. He won't say what the punishment is because, you know, tyrants, autocrats, dictators, fascists, they're all, they're crafty. They're tricky. He's a tricky little guy. He's a slippery little mofo. But Mr. Trump got rid of it. He bragged about getting rid of it. He suggested women should be punished for abortions. And he doesn't really believe that. But the Christians who want to coalesce with him need him to fight that battle for them. So it's a coalition of opportunistic sociopaths like Trump with hardcore Christian Nazis. And together they're all kind of Nazis. And I don't want to alarm you, but if the young folks can turn out and just stop the Nazis from coming back, because hey, listen, I'm a Gen Xer, man. I wasn't around for World War II, but I can tell you pretty much when people came back from Germany, the concept of Nazis was laid bare, and what they'll do to anyone that they don't agree with. It's a game. It's basically their mob bosses, right? The Nazi party, which is now the MAGA party, is the political version of a mob, an organized crime, not just the Italian mafia. There's organized crime everywhere. Some would argue that Russia is now run by a group of organized criminals who are headed up by this guy called Vladimir Putin, who pretends to get elected. They would love to do that here. So if you young people would like to protect women, I lost my sign's not there anymore. Vote for Joe. Protect women's rights. You'll also be protecting gay rights, because they will come for the gay folks. They will come. I'm not trying to be dirty. They will come for the gay folks. I think we're going to have to make that a loop. They will come for the gay folks. Let's turn on some beats right quick to go with that. Where them beats go? All right, that's too much. Now we got to pause this. There's some beats. They will come for the gays. They will come for the Muslims. They will come for the Mexicans. They'll come for you. They'll come for you. All right, so I don't think this beat's going to work for me. Let me turn this down a little bit. So if you have anyone in your family, and you almost certainly do have someone in your family who is gay, even if you don't know it, somebody in your family is gay, do you want to persecute gay people? Do you want to create what is essentially laws for women that will put women in pregnancy prison? Pregnancy prison is what we're talking about here, people. At 509-676-6032, they will say that that undeveloped seed of a human is a human that has more rights than you, a full-grown human with the ability to sustain another life. That's what Nazis do, people. So you young people, in case if you're late to the thing and you're like mad at Joe Biden about Gaza, I get it. He will sue for peace. That's where he's going. He may not take the road you'd like him to take, and he may not take it fast enough, but he is, I believe he's doing all he can to get humanitarian aid in there, including this recent, what they make, a floating bridge or a dock or something? He's trying. You may not like him, but you'll like the Nazi. Hey, where'd you go? You'll like the Nazis way less. I can guarantee you that it wasn't long ago that we had the OG Nazis. And now they're back. That's all this is. And here's the other thing. This is going to be on the exam too, so you better pay attention. Get my pedagogy on here. This is the answer to the most important question that'll be on the exam. Voter turnout in the United States has always and still sucks. We're terrible voters. You didn't know that, did you? I didn't know it till I mean, I've known it for a couple decades now, but I was like, well, I guess Americans just, they don't really care about the vote. Well, you might want to care about it now because the Nazis will take it away from you. And by the way, if you're a member of the MAGA Nazi movement, I don't believe that all MAGA people know quite what exactly they're agreeing to. So I'm not here to say in any way anyone should be mean to people in MAGA. I think we should be straightforward, be honest, and try to, in a calm way, make a connection with them. It's not going to do any good, and I'm guilty too. I do it all the time. It doesn't do any good to make fun of your political enemy because they're still humans. And part of what the MAGA Nazi Party, let's take Tom Cotton, Senator Tom Cotton, he's a full-blown MAGA Nazi member. He wants you to be violent against other Americans who are protesting. That's Senator Tom Cotton. He wants you to go out there. He won't do it because he's a chicken shit. But he shouldn't do it anyway. He wants you to go to people protesting the genocide in Gaza and get physical with them. He said so himself. Check his Twitter feed. I won't call it X because it's too stupid of a name, Elon. Why didn't you leave Twitter, you moron? What the fuck, man? You should not be running social media at all. You're really good at some shit. That's not it. My point is this. The Nazis want violence against their enemies. We can't fall for that trick. Let's reach out. They're not our enemies. I would say at least 1/3 of the MAGA group doesn't really realize that they're agreeing to a form of a dictatorship. And there's all these words. Marxist, leftist, fascist. Forget the fucking words, man. One group wants the president to have ultimate power to do anything he wants at any time, including concentration camps, and it's in their own plan. I'm not even coming up with this stuff. It's in the Project 2025. You can read about it. They're proud of it. That's what Nazis always do. They brag about how they're going to improve the world by putting people in camps. They want to put immigrants in camps because they're doing too good of a job of helping our economy? Immigrants help our economy survive. Why would we get rid of them? They don't raise the crime rate. There's no evidence that the crime rate goes up with immigrants. In fact, it seems like it goes down a little bit because they don't want to fucking, pardon my French, they don't want to get thrown in jail when they know they're here without papers. They just want to work, which is what most Americans want to do. And they want to take care of their family. So my point is vote for Sleepy Joe. If you're just joining us, you don't have to love him. Sleepy Joe's what we would consider to be a regular president who actually respects the rule of law and will leave office, you know? Wouldn't that be something? Where'd my slide go? There it is. There's my slide. We'll get back to this. So your brother Seamus here, my argument is pretty simple. It's always been pretty simple. If you young folks can turn out and vote, you could take Bernie Sanders, let me back up a little, there we go. You could take Bernie Sanders' list of good things the government can do, because you know what, government is not good or bad, it's how you use it. Can we effectively build a multi-racial coalition that runs the government in a way that protects the most vulnerable instead of the most wealthy? We could do it. I think we hit about 70% last time. And that was like a record. I think JFK only hit like 64. Obama, I think, got like 68% voter. This is national election voter turnout. This will be on the exam. I think we got close to 70. Somebody check my math and then call in, would you? 509-676-6032. Call in and check my math, because I don't like Googling stuff when I'm talking to y'all. I like playing the tunes and dancing and stuff, you know what I mean? Get some high kicks in there. See if I can do a high kick without getting hurt. So if you don't know this, okay, I'm a Gen Xer. The two generations behind me, the millennials and the Gen Zs, now outnumber the baby boomers, who are one generation older than me, but their voter turnout is no better than any previous generation. But I think they're going to save the game for us, because I think that they're starting to realize that this little tiny thing called democracy is kind of the whole game. And do you really want, whether it was Trump or anybody else, do you really want one person to have all that power? Where nobody can check them? You can't remove them from office. You can't remove Putin from office. He'll have you killed. Forget about whether it's fascist, leftist, or rightist. Do you want the ability to impeach and possibly remove a president? Real legal ability to do that. The power has to rest with you people. And I think the young people are starting to realize you don't have to love Joe. You don't have to agree with everything Joe does. You don't have to agree with the two-party system. I think our system is completely out of whack. The Senate is not even representational. 2 senators from Wyoming have the same power as 2 senators from California. Less than 1 million people, and what is California? 40 million people? It just doesn't make a lick of sense, people. But here's my point. This will be on the exam also. Just because you're dissatisfied with the state of your democracy, and you have every right to be, our healthcare system sucks, and it's always sucked for people that make less than a certain amount of money. And the reason it sucks is because you can't make money providing health insurance for an entire population, because too many people get seriously ill. So why don't we all just agree we're going to chip in? It doesn't mean there's no role for private health insurance. But can't we all chip in for a safety net so nobody gets left behind? Because we don't know. You don't know if you're going to get brain cancer. I don't know if I'm going to get brain cancer. Joe Biden would support a system that you're allowed to get treatment no matter whether you have a job or not. And we all pay into it. And yes, it'll mean a little bit of tax in certain ways, but mostly it's going to be about increasing taxes for the hyper wealthy. And I'm not saying they're bad people, but you got to increase their taxes to run a society. They don't want you to take their money. That's the whole conspiracy, people. That's the whole thing. It's not QAnon. Nobody's drinking blood of babies. I mean, there's probably some weirdo, sexy vampires that are drinking each other's blood, but I'll bet they mostly fake it because it probably tastes like shit. So, point being, I'm your brother Seamus, and I hope you like my show. I hope you like my new curtains. I just put them in. I put them in myself. It's still a work in progress. There's some glitches that I got to work on. But I want to ask, I'm just realizing right now that the whole entire point of this program is to get young people to vote. And don't vote for MAGA Nazis, please. We don't even have to get into it. I know we're all sick of it. The hush money trial, by the way, go Stormy. Good job, Stormy Daniels. I'm proud of her. I hope you all will support her. She came up hard. She did the best she could. I don't think she's lying. A lot of people think she's lying. I think she is just telling her truth. And, little Donnie Sexy Pants, he was, what do you call that? Dipping your hand in the cookie jar or whatnot. So go Stormy. You may not agree with me on Stormy, but hey, to each his own. You can do your own show, and you can make your own AI drawing of Stormy like I did right here. I want to be clear. I did not tell the AI machine to show her with giant boobies. That just happened. But I love Stormy. I think my commands to the AI were something like Stormy Daniels riding a unicorn with over a rainbow. That might be what I said. So try it yourselves. I thought it did pretty good. I don't, I'm no expert, but so it all ties together. Stormy Daniels is, I believe, a gangster Medusa. Stormy Daniels is today's gangsta Medusa. That's pretty much all I have for you today. We're coming in at 57 minutes. That's a pretty good amount of time. I was raised Catholic, so 45 minutes to an hour is about that's about all I can take when it comes to church. I'm your brother Seamus. I'm a preacher. I'm a loop maker. I'm a Stormy Daniel lover. And we need you young people. I'm joking around. I'm being silly. I got my cool blue blocker sunglasses on, but I'm not kidding. The MAGA Nazis, if you don't believe me, just read their own material. So we're kind of at a tipping point, right? I think this is what when I'm listening to Gangsta Medusa by Emma Ward on Spotify, this is what it brings to my mind, is we're fighting a battle against evil forces. And I'm not, I feel like I'm joking when I say that, but I think this is actually true.
White coat from the lab.
I hope I'm
Got my
wrong.
easy bake oven, creepy crawlers on the slab.
But I
Catch
don't
me
think so.
latex gloving with machines glowing purple, green, and hints of blood. Red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't funny, and it's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa. Silence.
oven, creepy crawlers on the slab. Catch me latex gloving with machines glowing purple, green, and hints of blood. Red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't fronting. It's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Creepy crawlers on the slab. Catch me latex gloving with machines glowing purple, green, and hints of blood. Red.
Experiment conducted, know my methods ain't fronting. It's a little unorthodox and really is something.
Just playing with my toys and trying to get ahead.
Dark matter and vision. What I'm working with is particles in all positions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Send this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
X goes to the walls. Use the jaw, switch it like my big guy. I just try to kill time so I can't hack. Just face out. It's a serious subject and I'm not trying to touch it. The conversation, cause maybe the wrong buzzer is nothing. So I just hide inside the secrets while the ring is an angel judge.
Of hand transmissions, got the way to carrying out my real convictions. So I'll attach myself to this sound transfuser. Set this code inside as an infinite user. Talking about gangsta Medusa.
Memorial Day deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, save
Introducing the Red Nose Day.
Hope you enjoyed that show, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the show. We're saying go Stormy. You don't have to agree with us. The beats you're seeing and hearing right now are courtesy of Fruity Loops. This is the trial version of Fruity Loops. And I highly recommend it. I don't get reimbursed by Fruity Loops, but who knows? Maybe down the road I can perhaps make some money off of this. I don't know. And I want to thank Emma Ward. Let's give Emma Ward one more shout out. I think it says Go Stormy on here. Emma doesn't necessarily agree or disagree with Go Stormy. She has her own mind. I wouldn't dream to guess what her thoughts are. I'm your brother Seamus. All I can tell you about is my thoughts. But you could call this number. We're at 1 hour and 11 minutes and not one single caller called. I won't pretend that I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised because it's a call-in show that absolutely nobody knows about. And I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm your brother Seamus. I'm a psychologist. If you build it, they will come. Perhaps. Perhaps if you build it, they will come. I'm here to remind you that wormholes are cool. Don't give up on the wormholes, people. They're out there. Keep an eye out for them. We did this, we did that. I'm just checking all my notes and make sure. Yeah, we talked about voting for Joe. Protect your body, vote for Joe. We did that. Oh, we didn't do t-shirts. Let's get on over to the t-shirt shop, shall we? Doom, bop, diddle, boom, boom. Okay, a couple things before we go. There we go. Display, please. Oh no, what's this doing? Oh God. Get over here. All right, there we go. So, we sell t-shirts that come in all different shapes and colors. And right now, this is our best-selling t-shirt. It says, "Immigrants make great Americans." It's pretty self-explanatory. We're here to argue that immigrants are just like regular people. They just want to take care of their families just like you and I would. But they get you going with this idea that there's an invasion, right? Some kind of invasion happening. Well, it's workers that are being hired to do work that a lot of people here won't do for the wage that they're offered. A lot of that's farming and meat processing and fruit picking and roofing, and there's probably 50 to, who knows, it's probably a lot of jobs that immigrants end up doing. And I think it benefits all of us. And if there weren't jobs here, I would go there and get jobs if I could. Don't you want to take care of your family? What if the shoe was on the other foot? So how do you get these lovely t-shirts? Well, you go to Bonfire. See up there on the top of the screen, Bonfire. And then type in Humans for Democracy store, or just go bonfire.com/store/Humans for Democracy. Humans for Democracy is kind of our parent corporation, if you will. If you want to use the language of corporate America, which I do not. I don't know why I just said that. So there's different cuts. I don't understand this cut, but I appreciate that Bonfire understands that some people need a heather navy shirt that is of a different cut. Different cuts for different folks. Humans for Democracy. Emma Ward gave us some music today. You now know about our t-shirts. That is how we make our money. There is a website, if you're so inclined, humansfordemocracy.org. That's not it. That's Emma Ward. Gangster Medusa. We think Stormy Daniels is a modern gangster Medusa. We thank her for her honesty. Let's play this. There we go. This is a good one to go out on. We gotta give this. We gotta loop this here, don't we? Let's see if it loops itself. Come on, you can do it. You can loop. Nope, no loopy. No loopy, people. No, I didn't want to do that. This looks interesting, but it's not what I was going for. It looks pretty good, actually. All right, this is pinned. Download copy. Nope. Don't seem to be able to loop the old TikTok online. Maybe that's why, because I'm doing it online. All right, so we do stuff like that right there at Humans for Democracy. And we put it out there on TikTok, mostly under the name of the Brother Seamus Show. But it's mostly about human rights. Women's rights are human rights, after all. It's the Brother Seamus Show. You stand with. They sure do like to dress sharp. Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. See, stand me. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. I says to dress sharp. I says dress sharp. I says sharp. I says sharp. I says dress sharp. I says the Calviner shizzy stand Nazis. They is Nazis. They shizzy stand Nazis. They shizzy sees they sure do shizzy sees they sure do loud winner. They sure shit. Nazis, they sure do like to Calviner. She sure do like to Calviner. She sure do she sure is Nazis, they shizzy they stand mid. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. The Calviner shizzy stand mid. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. I says the Calviner shizzy stand mid. Them Nazis, they sure do like to dress sharp. I says the Calviner shizzy stand Nazis, they sure do like to dress. The Calviner do like to dress sharp. Them Nazis, see, it's Nazis. They sure do like to dress sharp. I sure do. Hallelujah, dress shit. See, it's them Nazis, see, it's Nazis. They sure do like to dress sharp, people. All right, I'm trying to sign off, and my computer kind of froze up on me, so I'm just still broadcasting. I'm going to start closing out some programs and see if I can get some control back on my broadcast, because it seems like I lost some control here. Volume's down a little bit low. How y'all doing? I still got the beats on. I guess we'll go out with the beats. What else could we do? I hope you were able to hear that video. It was a little thing I made. It was just a little short ditty called Black, White, Brown Unite. It's about living in an actual post-racial society. Wouldn't that be something? A post-racial society? And guess what? Gen Z, millennials, you got the numbers. That's why the MAGA Nazis were born, because they realized that a whole bunch of young people who don't believe in all this billionaire bullshit, they realize that you're coming, and they're trying to seal the door behind them by giving one man ultimate power. And your voter turnout, just like Gen X, your voter turnout sucks. It's around 70% at best. You know what the voter turnout in Sweden is? 90% and above almost always, I think. Check my math on that. Them Nazis, so they like putting... The Nazis really... They want the white man and the black man to go after each other, and the brown man. There's a lot of ways to say it. The main way is to say the Nazis are coming, and we need y'all young people. Get in the voting booth, do your duty. It's the most patriotic thing you can do. Even if you struggle to believe that it's worth anything. I get it. It sucks. But don't be a bunch of pussies. Just, sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's probably inappropriate. It's your brother Seamus saying, let's take a 20-second fade out. Thanks for joining us today. Someday somebody will call, but right now I'm going to enjoy meandering around inside of my television studio, my homemade television studio. I'm going to enjoy my time alone, much like I did during the dreaded COVID. COVID taught me that being outgoing robs you of some of the pleasures of being an introvert. So yeah, I guess this is my trauma therapy for COVID. If you want to think of it in trauma terms, I don't think I was really traumatized. But hey, who's keeping track, really? All right, I'll see you next time. Let's see if I can fade down the music in 20 seconds. Oh, I was supposed to do a fade to black. I did not do that. All right, now I'm going to do a fade to black fade to black for 20 seconds. Simultaneously lowering the record volume. Let's see how that starts fading to black. I'm lowering the record volume.